So today we are going to discuss data security. Prior to that, I'll open a Salesforce Arc. So what do you mean by data security? Can anyone? What do you mean by data security? What is the purpose of data security in any company or any CRM application?
Employees and customers' data should be secured in the
Ah,
company.
so to secure that, we should follow the best practices for data security. So I'll go to any app and I'll show you what is what. So here I'm going to my first app which we created. So in this app, we can see accounts, cases, employees, companies, tabs, right? So whatever the tabs we are having, these are nothing but corresponding to objects. These are nothing but objects. So now, prior going to the data security concept, you should know how to set up security for each and everything. So first stuff is will be having objects. So whatever the tabs we can see in a Salesforce database, those are nothing but objects. So the next, if you open any object, let's suppose if I am opening accounts tab. In this accounts tab, we can see account name, account site, phone, account owner alias. Those are said as fields. And corresponding to these fields, you can see the data. Dickinson PLC, Yakub Test, Burlington Textiles, Test. Like that, whatever you are having, those are said as records. Okay. So these are the major terms you should be familiar with. So after this, you should know how to set up security for each and everything. So let's suppose if you want to set up object level or field level security. Object level or field level security. For that, we should have a profiles and we can do it from permission sets as well. So object level or field security, we can control with profiles and permission sets. These two are the features which we can control object level and field level security. I'll show you that within few minutes. Okay. So then next, if you go to record level security, how we can control record level security? So to control record level security, first we'll be having OWD, Arbide sharing default. Then next we'll be having sharing rules, role-based sharing, role hierarchies we can say. The next manual sharing. Okay, so these are the several ways to provide a security. So as of now, initially what you should remember is what you should get an idea is, so whenever someone said about object level security or field level security, you should think about profiles and permission sets. Okay. So if someone said I have to control a record level access or record level security I want to control, you should think about OWD, sharing rules, role hierarchies, and manual sharing. Which one will start first? With which one will start? Object level or record level? Sorry, I'll start
We'll
with
go
the
with object level.
good. We'll go with the object level. So this object level security, remember, while creating any object, or sorry, so while creating any profile, in a profile level, you should give as minimum as possible access. So in a real time, we'll be having companies. So now we'll be having Salesforce environment, right? So I'll go to setup in this. in the setup, I'll go to profiles. So here under the user portion, we'll be having profile section. I'm going to this profile section. So if you go to profile, we'll be having standard profiles, which we get with the Salesforce. As you can see, these are the default profiles, which we got with the Salesforce itself. So we got total 40 profiles from a Salesforce directly. Okay, so if you want to navigate to next page, what you can do is you can click on next here. So you can see remaining profile. These all are the profiles which you get with the Salesforce. So with the profiles, what we can do is we can control access to the users throughout the system. We can control access to the users throughout the system. Entire access of a user we can control with the profiles. So if you want to create a new profile, here you'll be having new profile option. As I'm clicking on new profile option. So, and then next you can see with which profile you want to clone all the settings. So whenever you want to create a profile, so we should take some profile as a reference, right? That's what it is asking here. Let's suppose I want to create this profile from a system admin user. As system admin is a user, he's a super user. He'll be having complete system access. So training profile, let's suppose I'm creating profile name like training profile. So I'm saving it. So you can create any profile like this. After creating this, it will take you into that profile page. So user with this profile has permission will be loaded, something. So it's gave complete configuration things. So you can see profiles. Profile detail, it's a profile name. User license is Salesforce license. And coming to the profile, it's a custom profile. And who created this thing and everything you can see here. Now, you can see for this profile, let's suppose if you want to set up login IP ranges for high security purposes, if you want to do it, you can do it. So the purpose of login IP ranges is sometimes the companies will maintain secured systems, means secured or secret environment. At the time, they avoid users to log in out of office. So for that purpose, what they can do is they can set up a login IP ranges. So if they specify login IP ranges, so if they create a new login IP ranges, if they add anything here, so whatever the IP range they specified here, in that IP range only the user can able to log in into the Salesforce account. If you are out of this login IP ranges means you won't be able to log in. So for that purpose, we'll be having login IP ranges. As I'm not doing anything to that, enabled Apex classes. For these profile having users, if you want to give access to any Apex classes, you can do it. Like that, visual first pages, data source access, named credentials access. Like that, whatever the access you want to give additional access to the users, you can give it from here. And here at the bottom, you can see page layouts, standard object layouts. So if you go to any object, under the object, we'll be having page layout, right? So coming to the page layouts, for this profile having users, which profile should be the default, which page layout should be the default page layout for this profile? So like for any specific object you want to set up, you can click on that object and you can set it up. Let's suppose we created an employee object, right? Where it is, see employee. Yeah, it might be in the top. I'll find it. So you can see employee. So you can see coming to the employee here, it is saying varies by record type. Yes, it is varied by record type. And here custom object layout. See here you'll see custom object layout. So company layout. So by default it is company layout, and coming to this varies by record type. If you want to change it, you can click on view assignment. It will take you into the page layout assignment and you can change it. Any doubts on this stuff? So from the profile, what we can do? we can assign page layout to any specific object as well. This point is clear? Any doubts on this?
Yes.
Yes, clear. So first thing is we can control a page layouts with the profiles. Second thing, here you can see field level security. Field level security is nothing but, let's suppose for account object, in the account object for this profile, I should not be able to show rating field. At the time, what you can do is you can click on view. So it will show all the fields access to this profile. Now, if you want to edit this, you can click on edit. Once you click on edit, so here you'll be having access to control the fields of this object. Okay, so let's suppose for this profile, I have to give read access only for some field. You can remove the edit access. Like that, for any field, you can give only read access, or if you remove both the read and edit accesses, that field will become hidden to this profile having users. Understood? So
Yes.
in the profiles, first thing is we can assign the page layouts which we prefer. And the second thing is we can control field level security. So coming to the controlling field level security, you can walk through any object. So here you'll be having objects. Here we'll be having objects. So whatever the object you want to access, you can go to that object. From that object, you can navigate and you can set up any field restriction you want to set up, you can do it. So in a profile level, remember, you should give as minimum as possible access. So you can see all the fields there. Then next, whatever the, coming to this profile having users should have access to which applications. So in a Salesforce, we'll be having a lot of applications, right? So this user should have access to which applications. So by default, he is having access to these many applications. Sorry for the delay. Yeah. So here you can see this user is having access to all this application, and you can see default app. So whenever he navigates to the Salesforce app manager, by default, it will open. Whenever user logs in into the Salesforce, by default, it take him into the sales application. If you want to change it also, you can do it. Let's suppose I'm clicking on edit. So here you can see custom app settings portion. So by default, which app should be visible to this user? You can set up this. Let's suppose if whenever I open the app, for me, the default app should be my first app. So for this profile, by default app will be my first app. Okay. Like this, you can set up a default app as well. Clear on this? I think this will be clear to you. And the next thing is tab settings. Coming to the tab settings, which tab should user have access? So tabs means, like, let's suppose if you navigate to any app, in this app, you'll be having tabs, right? Let's suppose I logged in, currently I logged in with the system admin, right? I'll be having access to these tabs. Let's suppose you are another user. Let's suppose you're having some custom profile. So for you, for the same app, I should not be able to give employees access to you. That thing we can control with the profiles. So you can go to that specific object. So we are speaking about employee tab, right? So what you can do is you can go to employee tab. So I'll type it, I'll find it. So you can see employees tab. By default, it is on, right? You can hide it or you can default make it off. So if you hide it, if you make it tab hidden, this tab won't be available to this user. Here, this tab won't be available to the user if you hide it for this profile. If some user logged in into this system and if he's want to access the specific application, for that application, this tab won't be available. Understood? So we'll be having three options. Tab hidden. Tab hidden means this tab completely won't be accessible to the user. Default off means by default it would be available in a app page, but from the app launcher you can navigate to the tab. Default off means you can do that. Default on means whenever he opens that application, the tab will be by default available to the user. That's about the thing. The next, admin permission. In a high level, what level of access user should have, that everything will be available in this. Okay, so here you can see password never expires option. So by default, with the Salesforce best practices, for your accounts, password will expire within 3 months, I think. So if you don't want to expire your password for any time, like for longer durations, you can make it this option, password never expires option, so that your password never expires. Okay, for this profile, I'm giving that access. Like that, whatever the remaining admin level access you want to control, you can control it. General user permissions. Generally, user should have access to which level of access. You can walk through each and every point and try to understand this. So, report builder. Report builders means the user should have access to create reports or not. Run flows. Yes, this user should have access to run flows. Flows means a declarative automation tool. So whether the user should have access to the declarative development tool control or not. Like that we'll be having. So it is about, so far what we saw, how we can control object level access. So from this you can control the object level access, and what could be the default access to the user, we can control it from here. The next, you can see tab settings. What are the default tabs should be available to this profile having users? The next, admin permissions. You can see admin permission as an administrator, what are the access the user should have. So you can see a lot of the fields are by default checked. Why means we cloned this profile from system admin profile. That's why we can able to see most of the things are checked here. So the next, general user permission. So the next here, another important portion you can see, coming to the object level security. As a user, what are the access user should have? You can control object level access here. So view all, modify all means the user should have access to other users' records as well. So remember, while creating a profile, in a profile level, make as minimum as less access to the user. So what I am doing is I am removing view all and modify all access. View all and modify all access, if the user have view all and modify all access means he can view everyone's data and he can modify everyone's records. Okay, so for the best practice in a profile level, we should have as less as possible access. It means, so let's suppose for the user, let's suppose if I want to delete access also, you can control it. So for the accounts, I'm doing this. For the leads also, I'm doing this. Okay. So now what I'll do is, yes. So for whatever the objects you want to control access like that, you can do that. So for these custom objects also, I have to do same thing, custom object permissions. Custom objects. Okay. So yes, I'll be removing this delete access also. For the employees also, I'll do same. Okay. So now I did this thing. Object level access also we are controlling. Session times out after. So the purpose of the session timeout option is, let's suppose we logged in into the Salesforce account and we are not doing anything in a Salesforce account. So after how much duration it will log out automatically. That thing we can set up from session timeout after some time. So by default, it is 90 days. And you can see password policies. By default, it is 90 days, as I told you, right? So if you set up that option, never expires, this won't be expire. Or here you will set up never expires, so that your password won't expire. And password security questions also, you can set up here complete password security things. You can set up in a password policies. So whatever the policies you kept here, based on that, you'll get password policies. So how many recent passwords you can remember, and minimum password length you can control here, password complexity, and like that, everything, every constraints you can add here. So that whenever the user wants to create a Salesforce account, this will follow. Like if you have created a user with some profile, that profile will follow these things, these guidelines. So I'm saving this. So as I created a profile, with the profile, which access we can control? We can assign page layouts to the users, and we can create, sorry, we can restrict tabs access. We can restrict object level access. We can restrict like login, like password setup kind of things, and field level access also we can control. Any doubts on this so far?
No, yeah.
Yes. So then from where we can assign this profile to the users. So how we can create a user? You know, right? How to create a user?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to users now. So please feel free to interrupt me if you stuck somewhere. So as I have how many users, like by default, will be get to use standard like user licenses, right? So I'm creating another user. So here I'm giving security test user. Email, I'll give my working email. Subdc gmail.com. Username is submit. Okay, I'm creating user like this. So coming to the roles, we haven't went through this. That's why I'm not touching that point. The next coming to the user licenses. So I'll go with the Salesforce license and profile, not Salesforce platform. I'll go with the Salesforce. So coming to the profile, I'll go with the custom profile. What is the profile name we kept there? Training profile, right? So here you can see that profile is available now. Okay. So now I'm creating a user with a training profile. I'm not taking care of remaining things. So as I think I had already explained you remaining features while creating a user. Time zone information, as you know. And here, if you select this box means I'll be get a password reset link to my email ID. So mail ID is correct. sfdc.devtrainings@gmail.com. Perfect. So now I'm clicking on save. Now I created a profile. Everything is good. I'll jump into my email now. Okay. So now after this, what I'll do is I'll jump to that Gmail. I'm going to Gmail. Yes, Gmail. Yes, we can see we got a link to reset the password. Verify account. I think we did not hide any tabs to him, right? Yes. Find link, reset password. I'll open it in completely new tab. So if you configure password policies to this profile, like bit complex, so it will suggest that thing. Okay. So password policies we had there now. We'll get that stuff. So yes. So what I'll do is for this user, like here you can see, yes. Now I'll go to employees tab, or else let's suppose I'll go to companies. Now I want to create a new record on this. Security check, let's suppose. Okay, I'm creating security check. Okay, one record is created. Now what I have to do is I'll try to delete this record. We'll see whether we'll be having delete access or not. So here we are not having access to that. Let's suppose if I click on this record. So here I am unable to see delete option to delete this record. So even after selecting this also, we won't have a delete access to this record. Okay. So here we won't have access to delete the record. So for employees also we did same thing. So let's suppose we see the different list views. All. Suppose if I open this record. So though I have all records access, but I unable to see delete button on this. Why means the users won't have a delete access to the record. So for accounts, do we have this? All accounts. Edit access only we are getting. For accounts also we did same, huh? Like accounts also we removed that access, delete access. For accounts also we did same thing, I think. Let's suppose if we go to cases. For cases we did not did anything, I think. All cases. So here you can see delete option. Can you able to see this?
Yes.
But for those accounts, employees and companies, we are unable to see delete access. Delete option even we are unable to see. The reason is in a profile level we controlled. Though if you have an access, if you try to delete it, you will get an error. Understood?
Yes.
Sirisha, is it clear?
Yeah, got it.
So it's a very, 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 very important thing coming to the real-time things. Okay. So coming to the profiles, again, we had an access to control this tab visibility kind of things, right? So if you make this tab as default off, it means if you see, by default, after login into this profile, it is taking me into my first tab. Did you observe that?
Yes.
Why means we set up default tab as my first tab there while creating this profile. That's why it directly navigate us to this app. In this app also, if you want to hide and show some tabs, you can do that. Tab hidden means the tab won't be available to this profile completely. Tab default off means by default, the tab won't be available in this app, but from this app launcher, you can find the tab. Understood?
Yeah, got it.
Yes. The next thing is, if you want to control or if you want to give additional access to the users or some set of people, for that we'll be having permission sets. As I'm closing this, that is not required to us. We are operating everything with the admin account, right? So now coming to this profile test security, is it a user? Yeah, it's a user, right? Now I'll walk to the profile. So now you got an idea like how to control the profiles, isn't it? What we can control with the profiles. Did you get a basic idea on this?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very, very important stuff. After doing this, after profiles, we'll be having concept called permission sets. So the purpose of permission sets is, let's suppose in a real time, let assume scenario like in a company we'll be having sales users and sales manager. Coming to the sales user itself, for them itself, they'll be having one lead. That user also having same profile. So sales lead should have access to other sales users records or objects. So with the same profile, they won't get more access, isn't it? So you and me are the same level people. So if we have same profile, with the profile, we'll be having same level of access. So my requirement is for the one user having now like multiple people having same profile. On the multiple people, for the one user, I want to give access to all other users with the same profile. At that time, you can go to permission sets and we can create a permission set. With the permission set, we can provide a high level access to the user. So what you can remember is, so coming to the permission sets, we can provide more access to the users. Permission set. So permission set also similar to profiles. Permission set also similar to profiles. In the profiles, always we should have as minimum as less access. Let's suppose Prudvi, Sirisha, and Monica are having custom profile. Let's suppose custom training profile you people having. So now what I have to do is for Prudvi, so for you all, you're not having delete access to some objects like employee object and account object. You're not having delete access. But for among you guys, for Prudvi, I have to give delete access. For Prudvi, I have to provide additional access to delete all these records. So to provide this kind of additional access to any specific users, we should have a create a permission set. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a very, 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 very important thing coming to the real time work. Okay. Then, so to create that, what I am doing, so I'm coming to this permission sets. So if we come to this permission sets, here you can see new permission set option. I'm clicking on new permission set. So training permission set. So remember, so coming to the trail account or trail developer account, as like we'll be having available licenses, like how many permission sets you can create, how many profiles you can create. You can check it in a company information portion, as I shown you while explaining company information portion in a starting session itself. I'll show you that later. So again, join with the same link. We'll continue for one more session. Is it fine for you guys?
Okay.
Are you asking right now?
After completing this session, within 1 minute, this session will terminate, no?
Okay.
Ah.
Okay. Okay. I'll join.
Sure. So description. So for this permission set, for which purpose you created, if you want to add any description, you can add it. Now I'm not adding anything. So coming to the licenses, from which license you want to derive it. So coming to the licenses, I have to provide Salesforce license. Means a super user license it is. It's a paid license in a real time actually. So I'm saving it. As I created a permission set,